Hi, I want to talk about one of those dreaded did not finish books. Everyone has those books. I have them. I have readers who say they could not finish. And I have books I cannot finish. And I thought, for me as a writer, I'm sometimes maybe very hard on aspects of craft. And I thought, I'm going to just share the things that make me straight away put down a book. And it might be surprising to some, because I'll use this recent book as an example. I won't name the author or the title, but the book was everything I look for. It had a gorgeous cover, had a great title, it had an enticing back cover blurb, and I started the story. And by page 3 or 4, I was like kind of getting like a little put off. And I thought, okay, that's really early. Let's just hold on. I read another couple of pages, and here's what bothered me. There were too many uses of he exclaimed, she stipulated, he demanded, she smirked. By the way, smirk is such a terrible one to use. I hate the smirk. Anyway, every page had at least 4 or 5 of these, and I would have really rathered at that point, he said, she said. And I've done a whole little video on this over at YouTube once, a couple years ago. But this was a biggie for me because I wanted this book. I'd spent money on this book. I was excited to read it. But there was just too much that pulled me out of the story. When you're following character dialogue, you don't want to be pulled out. You don't want to be thinking about the author. But every time the author added, he smirked, or she pleaded, or he demanded, or she whimpered, we see the author. We're not seeing the characters. I don't feel the character's emotion because I'm being told the emotion. If you want us to see that she's upset, you as an author would maybe say, her eyes filled with tears. And then she'd say maybe something like, it hurts me when you say that, or she could say, I'm shocked, or whatever. But for her to whimper, I immediately think, oh, that's uncomfortable. And do adult women whimper? I'm thinking maybe a puppy might whimper. A young child might whimper when mom's heading out the door. But I don't want to read about a 24-year-old heroine whimpering. Just like I don't want to read about a hero demanding before I even know him. Because how do we're only on page 3. How do we know he's demanding? We're being told by the author he's demanding. Far better, he said something and we leave it as he said. And then let the reader infer. And the author has to do the hard work, not by giving us those adjective tags and those adverbs, but rather the author has to set up the scene. Give us a lead in with the body language. If he stood over her, hands on his hips, and said something, in a sharp voice, we're going to understand better than he demanded. He demanded doesn't set up enough. It doesn't really build in tension or emotion. So authors, writers, do the hard work so your readers don't get pulled out of the story. And if you're one of the readers who just doesn't care about this stuff, that's good. I just read too many books. I've written too many books for little writer things that aren't hard to change. Changing to he said, she said is the easiest thing you can do as a writer. Every time you put a pleaded, demanded, whimpered, stated, just make it said. And then your reader gets to keep reading without getting lost in writer speak. Okay, that's it.